So I always thought they just did it in the order of birth. Like I always thought you were the first call, but years ago, and we mentioned this talking to mom, like she had that medical emergency and she ended up in the hospital. I think dad ended up calling me and I was like, "Oh, dad, do you want me to call anybody else?" And he's like, "No, everybody else knows." I was last. I was like, "How am I last?" And like in this like chain. Like everybody knew.
I don't even remember how I found out, but I mean, I do think like a little phone tree makes sense.
Welcome to Three Little Fishes. We're three sisters who grew up in the Midwest together, but have since spread across the country. I live in Los Angeles.
I'm in Nashville.
And I live in Philadelphia. We are all married with children, have all had careers, but now we stay at home with our families.
Join us as we share secrets and stories about being women, wives, and mothers.
We welcome you to laugh along, learn something new, reach out, and join our conversation.
So let's jump in.
What's up, fishes?
What's up, fishes?
What's up? Happy to see you girls.
Hello.
All right, so this week, something is going to air that I was involved in. 911 Nashville is airing on ABC, and my oldest child and I were extras in that. So I have no idea if I've made the cut or not, but I'm on the street in the pedal pub incident. So there's a pedal pub, like emergency, and I'm on the sidewalk and I'm like, I have no words. I just use actions. And
That's really cool.
Tell you again that I am not an actress, so please don't make fun of me, but I might be on TV. So it's on ABC.
It's on ABC, and I think Chris O'Donnell's in that. And I am a big Chris O'Donnell fan.
And Kimberly Williams. So she lives here in town, Kimberly Williams. And Chad Lowe actually is the director. And as extras, we were on this bus going to set, and Chad Lowe was there, and my oldest daughter, sat next to him, and he's so sweet. He's like a tiny little human. I think I could break him in half, but the sweetest thing ever. And my daughter had no idea who it was. I mean, I knew, but I didn't say anything. And she asked him, like, how'd you get involved? And he said, well, my brother is in the business. And so I kind of like went on his coattails, and she asked, like, how do I get involved? And he's like, just tell people what you want to do and just keep asking and just let yourself get out there. And he was really, really sweet. So anyway, he's been staying in the area for a while, filming all these shows.
Did you wear your own clothes?
Yes.
Or did they
wear your own clothes? They tell you what to wear. They tell you kind of how to dress, and then you show up. So,
but you didn't have any speaking parts, right?
No. I was just in background. I was background.
Yeah. All right, I'm here for it. I'm going to check it out.
I hope you're on.
Nashville 911.
Nashville 911.
Kathy, what's up with you?
It was my birthday, so I've had a lot of birthday celebrations, which have been fun.
Woo-hoo.
My friend took me out to lunch, which warmed my heart. It was my first little celebration, and ever since then, I just have been having some good days. So it's been fun.
Nice.
And I got a surprise last night because my oldest came home for fall break. So he's here.
That's nice.
Aww.
Yeah.
Well, you love surprises, so he knows how to get to you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what has happened here. Taylor Swift's new album, Life of a Showgirl, dropped. And she had over the weekend a movie that talked about her 12 new songs and then the behind the scenes of making her music video, Fate of Ophelia. And I surprised Johanna after school and took her to the movie. And she was so happy, you guys. She cuddled up next to me and they put the words to the new songs on the screen really big. So it was kind of like a sing-along. And she was singing along and she was just smiling and so happy. My two favorite songs from the album are Eldest Daughter and Life of a Showgirl. I thought those were really pretty songs. She also has a song called Wood that's getting a lot of controversial. In the movie, she says that it's about superstitions. But if you really listen to the words, it's really not about superstitions.
I thought it was about Travis Kelce's penis.
Yes, I think that's what it's about. Like she's trying to be cheeky.
Yeah.
So if you're at all interested in Taylor Swift, check out Life of a Showgirl.
Oh boy.
All right, you guys. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about the sandwich generation. We have our mom on to talk to us a little bit about what the sandwich generation means to her. But before we get into it, I just want to please have everybody please rate, review, give us a message, and invite your favorite fishes to jump in and join the conversation. Okay, let's jump in. So we had our mom on to talk about the sandwich generation, but what it turned into is having tough conversations with people that we care about. Take a listen.
Hi, guys. It's nice to be here.
Today we're talking about the sandwich generation. People that are still caring for children, either at home or in college, or younger generation. And then we also have older generation that were, if not taken care of, kind of watching age and go through that whole process.
Right.
So, Mom, it's interesting because when we were growing up, you were part of the sandwich generation, like full throttle. Like you had 4 kids, your parents and Dad's parents lived, a long time, and you kind of like did what we're doing now.
Right.
What did you realize that like you were in part of that different sort of like circumstance?
Well, I think it's just, it's just a natural progression of things. And I don't think, to be honest, you had enough time to sit down and think about it, that it was,
right,
and what the ramifications were, or would I do anything differently, or any of that. It was just head down, make the runs, school, hospitals, back to home, dinner, etc.
Because you were young still. Was it hard to kind of navigate
30,
that?
35 when my dad died.
Mom, I didn't realize that you were that young. 35.
Yeah.
Wow.
He had his first heart attack when I was pregnant with David, which was hard.
I bet.
They were pretty private, but felt we were able to communicate with him how he was doing, what he was going to do next. But we were pretty lucky. My dad's cardiologist was a personal friend of ours, so we got a lot of advice or information.
HIPAA didn't exist.
I was just going to say, not like that. I'm not sure if that would fly today. Yeah. You just said something very interesting, Mom, is that you said that they were very private. And I think that you and Dad, you're also very private. And I have PTSD from a few years ago when you got really sick and you almost died. And we didn't realize how sick you were until the bottom fell out. And you guys are like, oh yeah, Mom's getting admitted to the hospital. She's sepsis. And, we're just going to have to wait to she's septic.
Well, okay.
And we have to wait. We have to wait to see if she turns the corner. But you're very stoic. You're very private. You didn't let anybody know. So I think about that sometimes and I'm like, oh, and then because I live across the country, I don't get to see you that much. And I just have to go by what you say. And sometimes I'm like, are you being honest with me?
Well, in all fairness, bad mom. In all fairness, there are 3 of you sitting there, 2 of you are extremely private as well.
Who? Who are the 2?
Well, it's not you. So I don't think it's meant as a way to keep you out of our lives or out of my situation. That situation, to be honest, I didn't feel that bad until I felt bad.
All of a sudden, a cliff.
Yeah, right. I just fell off the
cliff. So for our listeners, several years ago, you got very sick and you thought that you had food poisoning, and you were really holding on to that for many, many, many days. And finally, when you went to the doctor and they did some imaging, they found out you had your appendix burst. You were really sick, and you're actually really lucky that you're sitting here with us. I mean, thank God you are. And it turned the right way, but that could have just as easily you really couldn't have made it.
You're right. It was a lesson for me to be a little more of an advocate when I don't feel good, but lesson learned.
I do understand this. it is like, you don't want your conversations to always be centered around what's going on, what's
going
wrong,
on, what hurts,
right?
what
You know what I
doesn't
mean?
work.
Like, it's like you want your
Right.
life to be more complete than that. I notice with some people, they don't call or engage when stuff isn't going exactly right because they don't want to talk about it all the time. Like, it just gets to be like a drag.
Tell. And that's a
Yeah,
tell.
right.
If I don't hear
Right.
from certain people for a period of time, it's a flag that I need
Right,
to
something's
reach out.
going
Something's not
sideways.
happening.
But honestly, I feel this way as a parent and a daughter. Like, it's a slippery slope. Like, I have young adults who are raising themselves up and trying to do the things independently and live their life completely, and they will ask for help sometimes, but I have to be careful because I can't ask too many questions because they get annoyed with me. But then if I don't ask questions, they get annoyed with me. Like,
Well,
don't you
it's just a
care? Why are
balance.
you not calling me?
Yeah.
Why are you not asking? So I just always feel like it's this tightrope of communication with my young adults. And quite frankly, I do feel this way about my parents and my in-laws because I don't want to always ask, like, how are you feeling? But I do genuinely want to know, but I don't want that to be like the epicenter of our dialogues. So it is this like tricky thing that you're
It's very hard to
tightrope
navigate
that you're
these
always
waters.
walking with everybody. I feel like I can't win for trying.
Parenting is never easy. And you parent your children and then you're parenting your parents. It's a challenge because it is a full circle. You start out with diapers at one end and then not good stuff at the other end. And it's just the way life is,
Were
unfortunately.
Dad's parents any easier?
No, they weren't any easier. No, they didn't want anybody to know anything until it hit the fan. So, no, it wasn't easier. In those instances, I'm sure you do the same thing. Dealing with my parents, I sort of took the lead. Dealing with his parents, he took the lead.
Oh,
I'm the in-law. I'm not the parent. I'm not the child.
right.
And he had a better way of reaching out or getting them to open up about what they needed.
So you want me to deal with you instead of Peter? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think Peter wants to deal with me. I mean, no offense. It's a familiarity. It's we've been together a lifetime. You know? So we know each other's quirks and things.
Yeah.
You have a good, positive relationship with your girls for sure.
I do.
And we talk all the time. Dad, we always know what's going on. Or I feel like, I hope I know what's going on some of the time. I'm not going to say all the time because I think you're secretive. But this summer.
Wow.
Yeah, so, I mean, I eventually find out, but I do feel like sometimes I do better. I run with a little anxiety and I do better if I know the situation. Like, I don't want to be surprised. I wish people trusted me to be like, you know what, this is going on or this is going on. I don't really want to talk about it. There's nothing to fix right now, but just so you know, this is happening. Don't worry. It's nothing
not a matter of trust. It's just a matter of getting up every day, dealing with your stuff. You know, as we're all getting older, and the challenge of getting older is learning to deal with the daily inconveniences that happen. I wake up this morning, I slept wrong, my neck hurts, or
right,
God,
yeah,
I got up, my back hurts, or whatever it is. You have to get up and deal with it.
Sure.
I used to play cards with this group of women, like the old ladies. Now that I'm an old lady, I mean, I used to say they were probably 15 years older than I, so they qualified. The rule was when you got together for these events, no one could talk about medical issues.
Right.
No one could speak. Now you could talk about your grandkids it was just, this was supposed to be a free zone where you're not focusing on the negative things in your life. And that's part of it. You know, your hip hurts. People don't really want to hear that. I mean, sure, it
their
does,
hip hurts too, probably.
Yeah, well, their hip hurts too, or they've, sprained their ankle or whatever. And it's so that's kind of why people don't talk about it.
Mom, I appreciate that for sure. So this summer we got to spend time with you.
Mm-hmm.
which I loved. And we
It's
were
awesome.
up north in Canada at your cabin. And, it's rocky, it's unstable. You have to get in and out of boats. You're literally in the woods. You're vacating your regular city life and you're in the woods and getting around. So I'm just throwing your business out there, but you have a really bad hip and you have a knee that's not great all the time. Dad has 2 bad knees that he's dealing with. But I noticed like you could use some things to help you get in and out of the boat, things to steady you, handles, things to make it easier so you don't fall. And I found it to be really, even though we have such a good relationship, I felt really weird, or it was harder for me to be like, you know what? I'm worried that you could fall because your hip isn't working like it's supposed to. Like, I think you need a handrail or something to help assist. And I felt really weird talking to you and Dad about it. Like, please put some things in place so you don't fall.
Well, you should never feel weird talking to us about stuff. I mean, it doesn't matter.
I don't want to get yelled at. Nancy, I am not old. Stay in your lane. Nancy, I don't need that. I was a very good athlete. Yes, you were a very good athlete. And I think you are doing amazing things.
You can talk to me. You can tell me anything. I may get a little cranky, but I'll think about it. And if it's valid, we'll talk about it.
I think when we first brought up that I was worried you were a fall risk because you have a bad hip and you have to get a new hip. And I think that will be scheduled soon. But it's not because I feel like you're like 1,000 years old. You literally, your joints won't work. And you are a fall risk, in my opinion. But trying to talk to you about it, I was like, please don't get mad. Please don't get mad. Hear what I'm saying. Like, don't get upset. Are we okay?
I'm never going to get mad at you for expressing a concern. I mean, that's just, we do that. You would do that with your children. I'm worried about this for you. You would say that to your kids. I'm worried that this isn't going well for you. How can I impact that? I mean, if it was school or whatever it was about, or they're have a bad breakup, I'm worried about you. That's perfect. Hopefully we can manage our lives pretty well until we can't.
So if you were reflecting back to how you communicated with your parents and your in-laws, is there something you would have done differently or advice you would give us?
I don't know that I could have done anything differently. Dad and I decided many, many, many years ago that we were going to have different dynamics than our parents had. And part of that was we wanted to communicate more openly with our children than they did with us. It was kind of like always kind of do what you're told, kind of, you don't belong in my business, that kind of thing. And so there was nothing I could do differently because that was just not an option. I tried to be available.
The way they stayed throughout their life.
Yes. Yeah, I just can't. I had to. You do what you can, and you're there if you're needed. That was kind of what we sort of had to resolve or resort to, was just that. Just be there in case they need it, because they would never ask.
You haven't really ever asked for help. We've just kind of come. Like when you got sick and were in the hospital, like we had a plan that Linda could get to you first, and Linda went and she was with you guys to give Dad support, be the ears for the rest of us and eyes for the rest of us.
I love that.
Do you like that we kind of we're doing it without being asked? Like, do you know in the back of your head that we've got you?
I love that. I think it touches my heart that you are so invested in making sure that we're safe and healthy. It really touches me. And so I really appreciate that. And I know Dad does too.
I mean, it's a slippery slope, right? Because I think I've heard a couple of times, like, I don't want to be bossed. Like, maybe I can be bossy, but I'm not trying to be bossy. Like, because you're cognitively, you're great, and you're still our parents, right?
Well, so but you have to understand, when people are ill and struggling, they're sometimes not as thoughtful or as kind as they would be when they were feeling better. They will be a little short. Like my dad got really short with my mom, and I would think, she's a better person than I am that she would allow him to talk to her that way. Just harsh. Yeah. But she knew he didn't mean it, that it was
because
his disease.
He felt sick?
He was sick.
Like
and
he was
wasn't
in
feeling
pain
good.
or something?
And because he was never that way. He was always kind and he was always thoughtful. So it was a disease symptom. So if that happens, you can't internalize that as, oh, all of a sudden they're mean. They're not. They're just not feeling good. Give them a little time, space, food, medication, something to help them.
It seems like, to me, I think a lot of people think older people can be cranky.
Nobody likes getting old. I mean, your life changes dramatically. You can't do half the things you used to do. You don't feel good. You look in the mirror and you think, what the happened
right
to the person that's living inside of me is not that person, and so that happens. So they get a little cranky about it. Like I said, part of growing old gracefully is understanding that you're going to grow old. Learning to accept your limitations is the hardest part, because
it is hard.
I'm sure you're all old enough now to know that when you inside, you're not your chronological age. You still think of yourself and react to things as somebody who's younger. Well, the same thing is true. Sophie Kinsella wrote a book, and she's a beach read, hardly
I like her.
Pulitzer winning novelist, but an easy read. They're always interesting. She wrote a book called 20s Girl. And it talks about this. It talks about how you look at yourself. And it was very insightful. It touched me because this girl's life was a mess, and she's has to go visit her 90-year-old maiden aunt who's in a facility. And as she gets to know this maiden aunt, she discovers that inside this shriveled up 90-year-old woman is this vibrant, intelligent, full of stories woman. And she never appreciated that. And it made me think that I didn't do what I should have been doing as a younger person, and spending that much time with my grandparents, my grandmothers. My grandfathers were gone, but my grandmothers and Agnes, finding out more about their stories and how they lived. Because they led really fascinating lives as I get bits and pieces of it as I get older.
Well, it's going to be interesting as we dip our toes into this new part of our lives, trying to communicate and figure it out and give everybody support and what they need.
So we all have young adults. Nancy's a little ways away with one of hers. Do you have any advice how to parent the young adult that's trying to make their own decisions and do their own thing? And is there any tips and tricks that you have for parenting the young adult?
Well, do you remember what you used to say to me? Mom, Mom, is this another life lesson? Mom, more life lessons? Huh? I mean, I think that's it. It's a life lesson. You say, you're struggling right now. If it was me, or if I had an opportunity, this is what and they're going to look at you and go, Mom, I don't need a life lesson. But it's there. You've said it. If you don't say it, you can't ever know that you got, that you got through. And we've said some hard things to you guys because we loved you, and we want to let you know that this is what we're concerned about. So I think that's what you do. You just say, you seem to be a little lost. Have you thought about making lists or factoring things in or taking another approach, something just to help them? Or you can't decide what to do. Well, why? What is going on? Or in a bad relationship? If that's not working for you, change it. We're not, it's like you went to a certain school. If you hate it, go somewhere else. If it's not working, change it. That kind of thing. So that's what I would recommend.
Right. Give
those
them
life
permission
lessons.
to.
You have permission to do what you need, but we'll be here as backup. Always
Yeah.
we'll have your back.
Yeah.
Always.
That's a good.
As much as we can. Always have your back.
Yeah.
Just
I will say that I have always felt that from you and Dad. I have always felt that
100%,
which I think is amazing. And I know not everybody has that, and I hope that we're doing that for our kids. I think we are.
Of course you are.
I feel that I totally give 100%, and I don't think my kids appreciate it sometimes. My youngest,
it's those life lessons, Kathy. The life lessons.
He told me to get out of his room. I was like, "What?"
Well, don't you want me to lay here and talk to you endlessly?
I pay for this room. Right. You get out. You get out of the room. Yeah, Mom, you told so this has been I feel like a positive conversation, and you've been really open about trying to talk about some of this stuff, but you were telling me a story when Linda was trying to help you. And will you tell our listeners and remind, I don't know if Linda remembers this story about when you said that she was assisting you.
I don't know. It was a long time ago. I mean, it wasn't even, I don't know.
I think it was when we were in Florida.
But it's been a while ago. It's been a few years ago. We were somewhere and we were walking along the street and we came to the corner and we were standing on the curb waiting for the walk light to change. And as the walk light changes and I step off the curb, Linda grabs my arm and carries me across the street. And I got over to the other side. I thought, what the... Did I suddenly become this crotchety old woman who came across the street? It was like, what's wrong with you? I mean,
I do not remember this, but I can only think,
and it's happened again. It's happened repeatedly, but it's because of her concern.
I can only think it's because you were being extra pokey and I wanted to rush you along, or I thought you were going to fall.
It was from love. I knew that, and I don't think I said anything to you.
I'm sorry,
but I thought
Mom.
to myself, what the hell?
You are having knee trouble and hip trouble that you've had for a while. So maybe this is one of those times where you didn't realize that you were as bad as you were. So Linda was really saving your life, like Frogger, hopping across the road.
Well, Linda walks 100 miles an hour. I mean,
I have long legs, so
I do not have long legs. So consequently, they don't go as fast.
Sorry, Mom.
I have to ask one more question from Mom, because we talked in our podcast the other week about being half empty or half full, and I'm a half full, and I'm I want to know what is good about getting older and getting older where you are.
The joy in watching my children lead these successful lives, raising great families, succeeding. Watching my grandchildren grow and spending time with them and listening to them and talking to them and seeing how really extraordinary they all are in their own unique ways. I mean, we've got 8 of them and they are all so completely different, and it's exciting. And of course, you wouldn't ever want to lose that. People who don't spend time with their grandchildren and their adult children are really missing out. It's because it's the best part.
Thanks, Mom.
Family's important.
Trying to stay healthy just so we can hang on.
Yeah. Get your hip fixed.
On the schedule.
Well, exactly. I do, the whole sandwich thing, the kids, our young adults are one bread. You guys are another piece of bread. We're kind of in the middle, and just figuring out how to effectively communicate and support both ends.
Right. We got everybody.
Possible way. It is,
we have very big arms, very big.
Do. You know what? Big hearts. We can do this.
You're not alone. Every generation before you has done the same thing.
Yeah.
You just have identified who you are.
Yeah.
You can give yourself a name.
I mean, you did it a long time ago. I mean, not a long time ago, but you did it
a long time ago. You just communicate. Keep talking. Communicate.
Well, and I think too, for us, as we're talking, you've earned that from us to let you take, to let us kind of take some of the load from you. Like you don't have to do it all by yourself anymore. You've earned that right to like have that support.
Well, I appreciate it.
If you let us, you know,
we'll do
like
our
if
best.
you tell us, if you talk to us and you tell us the truth, you know.
Now, there's been no lying, Nancy. Let's not go there.
I mean, I'm going to say I'm not totally sure about that, of finding stuff out after the fact.
That's not the same thing.
I don't like it.
I get that. I get that.
All right, Mom, be good.
We appreciate you coming on and talking to us about your perspective, you know, your experience as a sandwich generation, like in the younger years, and then your experience now and your expectations for how you want to be treated and communicated with. So
yeah,
I hope our listeners found it, you know, interesting, and we appreciate you coming on and being so forthright with us.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always fun to spend time with you girls. This is great.
As we're coming out of this, listening to our mom, we're so happy that she was able to come sit with us. But what I found really interesting is that my mom said that we weren't reinventing the wheel of the younger generation taking care of the older generation, right? Did you hear her say that? Like, we're not reinventing the wheel?
Yeah.
But what I find striking is that none of us live next to them. So our parents were able to be in a 10-minute drive of their parents or people who needed them. But Linda, you live in Tennessee. Kathy, you live in Philadelphia. I live in California. We have to plan it. We're not just like a car ride down to the hospital 10 minutes away. And so that's what makes me anxious is that I don't have that luxury that she did.
Right.
I mean, I think you're absolutely right. Like, I think, you know, what I really feel is this anxiety about trying to plan for the things you can plan for, and then having something in place for the stuff that you can't plan for. Because like if you're having some sort of surgery or whatever, and you're not down the street, you can't do your life every day. You kind of need to like plan for it. You got to buy a plane ticket or take care of the house or take care of animals and like get yourself set up for success. So I think, you know, there is a difference for us and maybe some of our listeners too, when you have something that happens unexpectedly. It just is what it is. But if you can plan for it a little bit, I think that's
like, we're going to have to plan for when she has surgery in the spring.
Yeah.
We're going to have to rally around that.
Right. And so part of that planning for me is like, I was kind of thinking about this, like in my phone, I have my whole family, my immediate family, my children and my husband listed as ICE in case of emergency. It's in caps. So if something happens and somebody needs to get a hold of my people, they can do that easily. And I don't have that for my in-laws or mom and dad or you guys. Like, I do kind of feel like that's a very easy, actionable thing. And then also I was thinking, like, if something goes sideways, who would mom and dad call first? Who would my in-laws call
Who's
first?
our emergency chain?
Who is what's the phone tree look like?
So I always thought it was that they just did it in the order of birth. Like, I always thought you were the first call, but years ago, and we mentioned this talking to mom, like she had that medical emergency and she ended up in the hospital. I think dad ended up calling me and I was like, oh, Dad, do you want me to call anybody else? And he's like, no, everybody else knows. I was last. I was like, how am I last? And like in this like chain, like everybody knew.
I don't even remember how I found out, but I mean, I do think like a little phone tree makes sense. Like, you know, who do you call and what are their phone numbers? Because like, I don't know mom and dad's phone. I don't know their friends' phone numbers. I know their names. I guess I could look them up in the yellow pages if that still exists. I mean, I don't know.
The yellow pages. I mean, I think you could figure out something other than yellow pages, but yeah.
Yeah.
But it does bring up, like, Kathy, you did mention, like, you talk about communication with mom and dad. So, like, what are your
communication's difficult with anybody. I mean, even our day-to-day, like my husband and I, our day-to-day is difficult. So when you're talking about a serious concern, especially a health concern. I mean, most people are very private and, they'll maybe only share with you what they want you to see. And so I think that we have struggled with that because everybody has these concerns. And I think our big takeaway from this was like, it's okay to voice your opinion and, let your parents or whoever you're taking care of, know like you have a concern, and then they'll react to your concern, and either they'll heed your advice or they won't. But at least
I mean, Mom did tell us, like, talk to me. She's like, I may be mad at you, but then I'll come around. Right. And I do think, even as adults, you do kind of don't want to upset your parents. You don't want to be in trouble.
I mean, you
don't want to like do all those things, but it's so essential to try to get over your own stuff.
And I think that she definitely listened to us and our concerns, and they reacted and I feel like in a great way. They put in place some safety things that we were concerned about with the fall. So I'm happy that they listened.
You guys, I watched this interview, Chris Martin from Coldplay and Dick Van Dyke were on some late night show, and Chris Martin did this like behind the scenes for Dick Van Dyke's like 100th birthday or something. And he was so charmed by Dick Van Dyke and his 70-year-old son, who came up to Dick Van Dyke and was like, Dad, is it okay if I get in the pool? And Dick Van Dyke was like, yeah, you can get in the pool. And Chris Martin was like, I couldn't believe your 70-year-old son was asking if it was his dad's permission to get into the pool. But I think that is just such a natural way of the world, that you respect your elders. You don't want to step on their toes. But yet, the way I would maybe do things and the way my parents or my in-laws would do something might be different. And, you do kind of have like anxiety over being like, if I were you, I would do this like right now because I wouldn't want to wait. But you get to do life the way you want. And
I think just being respectful of everyone's feelings, I think, is a good place to start. And then if you're just speaking from the heart, I can't imagine that would be, thought in a bad manner. So
have those hard conversations.
Yes.
What's for dinner, y'all?
So, in honor of Renee, she shared with us her favorite recipe is steak Diane. And she used to get it as a special treat for special occasions. A lot of times it was served tableside. It's basically like a pan-fried beef steak. It is cooked, I think, like with a flame. It's pretty fancy, but we will share that and put it in the show notes. So try it out.
Sounds good.
So it is Kathy's birthday, as we've been talking about. It's her birthday month, but she just had it. And Linda and I have a little surprise. We just want to give her a little toast. So we wrote you a toast, Kathy, and we brought a little sip of bubbly to give you a toast.
Yes.
Wishing you a fantastic day filled with love, laughter, and all the things that bring you joy.
You're such an amazing mom to your 3 wonderful boys, and we hope this year brings you health, happiness, and plenty of rounds of golf. So, Kathy, cheers to celebrating you today and always. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Cheers. Well, we want to thank you for listening to our podcast and letting us sisters jump into your day. Please make sure to follow, rate, and review us. We want to also remind you to move it, fishes. So make sure we're doing our 20 minutes a day workout and let us know how it's going. Enjoy your fall weekend. Sisters out.